Alright, here's part 2 of this series. Just going over the reports right now. Instruction, trader, recruitment, diplomatic, Macedonia, Greece is in a big war now. Budget's in the red. Gotta watch out for that budget. It's one of the most important aspects of the game, because if you keep having too many turns in the red, then you can't afford to upgrade your cities, build units. And if you can't build units, then, once you run out of them, then the other tribes will conquer you and you'd lose. Also, when you upgrade some of these cities, later on in the game, it gets pretty pricey. You need to save up quite a bit to build the amphitheater, because you can't only pay a portion of it, you gotta pay it all at once. There's Navy easily won that one. Lots of ships sunk, but that's okay. See, the thing about the rebels are, there's a lot of them, but unorganized, poorly trained, and the units themselves are weak. Gonna send this fleet back to the port to retrain them and recruit more. Oh, also, after you build up your economy to a certain point, focus on sanitation. Back then, plagues swept over the valley and would wipe out whole nations and tribes and all that. So, because once your cities start to go, your economy goes, and once your economy goes, you can't afford the military you have. And back then, Rome had lots of enemies, and once you lose your military, your enemies will easily conquer you then. Just reviewing the enemy's forces. They have elephants back then, which are pretty strong deterrent, but the enemy here has divided itself into 3 different armies, which makes it a lot easier to conquer. And of course, no experience. You gotta also get experienced units too, because more experienced units you have, the less units you need, and the upkeep of your army will be a lot less, and then you can afford to build those amphitheaters, the Colosseum and all that. Which, for the Romans to win this game, you need to build the Colosseum and amphitheater to train the units, because as the ages progress, Egypt will get some pretty good units themselves too, and you're going to need the Roman legions, and the way to build the legions is you need to have the Colosseum built, I believe. Just going over the reports now, still in the red. Everyone's building, so that'll be my turn. How do you know the House of Bruttii is doing something with the Gauls? Okay. Gonna focus on construction and recruitment. Public order is good. Another thing to do is, when public order is good, increase your taxes. Because if you keep them on too low, the good thing about low taxes are public order, and the city grows a lot faster. But the bad thing again is the cities hemorrhage money left and right on low. You lose money, and if you lose too much, again, you can't do anything in this game. And actually, it's experience, good. So I'm gonna send that ship back to the port and retrain. Oh, and if you have a unit queued in recruitment, you gotta cancel it, then retrain and recruit. Otherwise, that whole turn will just be of that one unit recruitment, and then next turn you would have to retrain. If you have all the retraining queued first and then recruitment, you could do all of them in that one turn. Everyone's at war with Carthage. Britannia's at war with the Germanic tribes. Another turning red. Gonna assault. Oh, another thing about this game, the stars, of course, means the higher rank and better fighting the general is. But you see, there's the faction leader, the factionaire, and the family member. Another way to conquer these factions isn't, you don't need to take every single city they have. I mean, once you kill off all the family members of the faction, the faction automatically is lost, and whatever cities they do have automatically goes to the rebels, and of course they're a lot easier to deal with in these factions. Hey, well, you know, the public order is still happy, so I'll just occupy it instead of having to do the other two. Mission complete. They sent me some denarii and some unit. Cavalry back then was a major part. I mean, they can beat the archers, even some heavy foot soldiers. They can go around the flanks and hit them from both sides. Even the pikemen and hoplites. I mean, they had long spears, which were normally good to fend off cavalry frontal attacks, but if you got the cavalry hitting them from the back, then don't need to worry about the spikes and spears and all that. But for the most part, the early days cavalry was pretty weak themselves too. I mean, if there was no way of going around flanking them or hitting them from behind, then cavalry didn't stand a chance doing a frontal assault on them. Like again, the green space is only as far as they'll go that turn, so gonna send the ships over to the city and then dock whatever army I can and try to take on Carthage. When the town grows, you better quickly upgrade them if you have the money to, because then the city gets too big and public order drops. You can lower the taxes and recruit more soldiers there if you have the money, but if you can't afford to upgrade the city, then you probably can't afford to recruit. Okay, still going over some more reports. Yeah, after Alexander the Great died, the Greek Empire, of course, fell apart, and the Macedon Empire grew back again, and the Romans, of course, took over after that once they were strong enough to expand that way. It seems that once a country gets so far, there just aren't enough people in that country to maintain, and of course it breaks apart and falls. I mean, there's only so big a country can grow with the amount of people and resources they have, and the Greeks just got too big back then. Oh, another way to help maintain order is when you capture a city and you see certain types of buildings. Like if you see a Carthaginian, if you're the Romans and you see a Carthage building there, break it down and build one Roman up. Like if you break down a Carthage staple, then you're going to have to build a Roman staple back in its place, because somehow that affects public order. So big part of this game is the order. It's like, watch there, you see the green face turning to a blue face, which means they're darn near at the point of rioting. So going to lower the tax rate and recruit some soldiers there, and even going to send one soldier or one unit from this city to that city to help maintain order. Because I mean, the order is reestablished there, but I need to raise the taxes there, so I'm not losing money, of course, there.